What's up guys, my name is Jimmy Champane, and today I'm here with my review of It, which is from director Andy Muschietti, who also directed Mama. Basically, if you've never heard of it before, It is an extremely long story from Stephen King about a group of kids who call themselves the Losers Club, and they take on a shape-shifting monster that awakens every 27 years and eats enough children to feel full before it goes back to sleep. There's two questions I gotta answer right out of the gate. The first is whether or not this movie is scary, and the second one is whether or not Bill Skarsgard is as good as Tim Curry was as the monster. Starting out with the first question, yes, this movie is absolutely terrifying. There were multiple times when I jumped, not from a jump scare, but from horrifying imagery that was on the screen, and that hasn't happened to me in over a decade. Honestly, this movie almost falls into the same trap that Annabelle Creation did, where the scares kind of take the front seat and the plot takes the back seat. And I will say that at the beginning, when they're kind of introducing every character, each one gets their own scare scene, and that part did feel like the plot was taking a back seat to the scares, but the ship writes itself very early on, and that's just a minor gripe, because the scare scenes are pretty good. You know, there's a couple, like the one from the trailer where Pennywise shakes and moves really fast, that just kind of feel cringy and stupid, but there's so many other great scares that make up for it that I really can't find much to complain about there. Speaking of Bill Skarsgard's interpretation of Pennywise, I gotta say, I think it's better than Tim Curry's. I understand why Tim Curry's version was scary back in the day, and especially scary to the kids in the miniseries, but there's just something that's just a little bit more terrifying about Bill Skarsgard's interpretation. Unlike the original miniseries, this movie takes place in the 80s, and I found it a little bit unbelievable at first that kids would ever be, enticed by a clown, but he actually is very funny and kind of charming when he wants to be, which makes him that much scarier. It's that whole idea that the monster is a predator that this movie captures perfect. But when he shows his teeth, he is absolutely terrifying, and that's why it's just basically perfect. I really can't put it any other way. Now we're moving on to my favorite part of the movie, and that's the Losers Club itself. It is a wonder that they were able to find this many great child actors. Another thing that's just like Annabelle Creation, but in this movie, there's even more of them. And the dynamic of friendship they have is totally believable and totally real, and I wouldn't be surprised if these kids stayed friends as they grow up. If you've ever seen the original miniseries or read the book, you know exactly what you're getting into with the Losers Club. There's no gut punch or change here that's really gonna blow you away. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because all the performances here, like I said, are great. I really liked Bill a lot, and that's good because he's the main character. After his brother Georgie goes missing at the beginning of the movie, he's the one who kind of brings everyone together to find the monster and beat it. I really liked Bev a lot too. She's kind of older, she joins the group later on, and she's the same age as Bill, and she has to deal with probably the worst stuff at home, because all of these kids have something to deal with at home in addition to fighting the monster, which is another scary element of this, but hers is definitely the most terrifying. Her dad is definitely a child molester and abusive towards her, and that is just some of the scariest stuff I've seen in a movie ever, I gotta say. It really freaked me out. Ben's character is almost identical to his character in the miniseries, so what you got there is what you get here. There's really not a whole lot to say. I think this performance is a little more genuine. I liked him a lot, but they kind of just do the exact same stuff with him. The characters I think could have used a lot more screen time are Stanley and Mike. Mike gets barely any screen time. You really don't ever get to know him as a character, so I hope when the second movie rolls around, they do a better job at making him a character that you actually care about, because he does have a pretty epic moment in this movie that I feel falls short of what it really could be, because they don't have a lot of screen time for him. And Stanley is just kind of a big scaredy cat. He's a big baby. He's always there to, kind of pull everyone back, and it doesn't really serve a purpose. He has a good arc, I guess, but they don't really do a great job with it as compared to everyone else, and that's my biggest complaint. Another character I think they did a way better job with was Eddie. He's the hypochondriac, and his mom is absolutely terrifying and absolutely disgusting at the same time. You can really see that she does care about him even though she's super gross, but it doesn't really excuse what she does to him in the movie. I really like him though. He was honestly one of my favorite characters. And I saved the best for last here, but it's Finn Wolfhard's Richie. I think he wins the award for not only most Your Mom jokes in a movie, but best Your Mom jokes in a movie. I think in any other movie or TV show, when a Your Mom joke is made, it's very hard to laugh at it because it feels so trite and like contrived, but he's a kid and he's kind of like a little douchebag and he's funny as hell, and I just love it. I don't really know what else to say about his performance, but it's a total 180 from Stranger Things, if it makes sense to you. I don't know. He's kind of like the cool guy in the Losers Club. He's way too cool to be in the group, and he does know it, and he has some badass moments, including a part where he picks up a weapon that's straight out of Stranger Things, and that made me really happy. So if I had to pick one of these kids as my favorite, it's definitely Finn Wolfhard. I wasn't honestly a huge fan of him in Stranger Things. I liked his character, but here he just does a perfect job. So he wins the award for best member of the Losers Club in my opinion. So speaking of Stranger Things, and I guess Guardians of the Galaxy now, this movie takes up the trend of having a really good mixtape that you're gonna wanna listen to as soon as you get out of the theater. It's not as good as either of those, TV show or movie, but it's fine. Like, I really like the 80s music they picked, and there is a joke involving the music that is recurring, and it made me laugh every single time. The reason I love this movie so much is that it captures the idea of friendship perfectly. That's the whole point of it. It's that when you're with your friends together, nothing can stop you. And no matter where you break apart to as you grow up, you can always come back and know that no matter when you need them, your friends will always be there. And good friends will always be there. I think if there's one thing I value more in the entire world than anything, it's friendship, because I know my best friends will always have my back. And this movie showed me that I'm not stupid to believe that, if that makes sense. And that's why I really loved it. The way these kids work together to overcome something truly terrifying, both at home and then in the sewers of Derry where they're fighting a real monster, is just amazing. It's really, really cool. So that's why I love this new movie, It. There you have it, guys. That's my review of It. I really hope you liked it, and I hope you go see this movie because I think it's the best horror movie of the year, hands down, and it's definitely one of my favorite movies I've seen all year. If you've watched all the way to this point, I just want to thank you. It really means a lot, and if you're one of those people who's been subscribed forever, I really appreciate it. And if you are a subscriber who comes back once in a while, you should probably hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, because then you'll get a notification every time I upload a video. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, you really should subscribe because I put out awesome stuff all the time. Finally, if you're one of my viewers who stayed up super late just to watch this video, I just gotta give you the biggest thank you of all, because that means the world to me, and you should definitely let me know either way down in the comments. Anyways, guys, I'm Jimmy Champane, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.